Hey, welcome back to the Gig Harbor Flycast, and I'm here with my co-host, Brian Bennett. Oh my gosh! So last time we were here, it's just a couple weeks ago.
We're talking about New Zealand.
We talked about New Zealand, the month you spent there, and I said that I hadn't gone to Mexico yet.
No.
Right? Okay, so by the way, I'm back from Mexico.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. And because we were at the film tour, hanging out, talking, and I said, "Hey, I brought back a lot of different booze, so we should have another podcast, and we'll hang out and sample them."
And liqueurs, to be specific.
Yes, and so this is what we have done, and so we were strategic about this, though.
Yes,
we hung out on the back deck, grilled up some coho salmon from Nia Bay, and had a salad. We probably should have just eaten a bunch of bread.
I'm on the low carb thing though.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I think these are low carb. So
no, these are we're drinking responsibly.
Yeah. So so we're making like little baby tiny cocktails.
So I had a saying about all that. You know, all things in moderation, right?
Right.
Moderation's the first to go.
Okay, so
what do we have?
Okay, so I brought back several bottles from I don't even know how to say the name of the distillery. De Oresti.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And their stuff is made in Merida, where I was at.
Yep.
And I was actually supposed to, with my group.
Do people know where Merida is?
So Merida is the capital city of the Yucatan state. So, everyone's familiar with Cancun. Cancun is in Quintana Roo, which is to the east. So this is like the distance between Seattle and Portland. Yeah. So it's about 2.5 hours away, and it's probably more like 3 or 3.5. But they're neighboring states, and and so anyways, we were supposed to go to this distillery for a tour, and so we're in the van. We drive 15 minutes from where we were staying, not super far, and we pull up, and big gates, big fencing, and stuff like that. There was a security shack out front. There's a gal there, and
we're here for the tour.
We're here for the tour. Well, nothing happens, right? So we're waiting. The van driver, Angel, is talking with her. So she's radioing the guy we're supposed to meet with, and like nothing. She's like, he's going to get in touch with you. So we like kind of park in the shade. We're just sitting there waiting. We wait like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's kind of Mexico.
And it's Mexico, different culture, right? Sure. I maybe not so punctual, but but then he says, he messages me on WhatsApp, and he says, there was an incident at the distillery, and I'm really sorry. Thank you for your patience, and let me get back to you in a couple minutes if you can just wait.
What? So
we keep waiting. So we wait 30 minutes outside the gate. Like, we're in the van's running, the AC's going.
Yeah.
And he's like, he finally messages me back, and he's like, thank you for your patience. I'm so sorry. But with this incident that we had,
no tour.
We could, if you come back in an hour, we could do the tour, or tomorrow.
Right.
Well, we have things to go, people to see, so we couldn't do that. So we had to bail out, which was a bummer. So one of the things I did, I'm like, okay, we had some budget money for the tour set aside. So our next stop was going to
the liquor store.
No, it gets better. It gets better. We were supposed to go to the World Mayan Cultural Museum.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It is awesome. There's, I guess, a bigger one in Mexico City, but outside of Mexico City, this is like the best thing around. Mm-hmm. The only problem is like, I would have expected that the air conditioning would be on. Dude, this place was like one of the nicest museums I've ever been in.
But no AC.
It's beautiful. Like inside, like it was just, it was so well done.
Beautiful.
But no AC, and it's
hot.
It was probably 80 degrees or 85 degrees in there, and it's kind of stuffing. You're just like, it's like, okay, I could, I'm either gonna lay on the floor, like on these tile, like just to cool down.
Well, you got the full Mayan experience.
We got the Mayan experience, and the great thing is that next door there was a Costco. And so we went to Costco and
Mexican Costco.
we went to Mexican Costco.
So you use your
and-
regular Costco card?
Yes, I did. I didn't know if it was going to work. They scanned my card just like in Gig Harbor.
Get out.
Went into Costco. You know, all of us went in there. It was awesome. We had so much fun. They had hot dogs for $1. They had, you know, it was like they had some, you know, some things were very much the same, but there was a bunch of stuff that wasn't.
Sure.
So we bought some different, you know, things and
Yeah, that's
So-
cool.
and then we had to stop at at a grocery store because they didn't have a big selection of booze.
Mhm.
So we stopped at a grocery store and we were able to pick up a couple things. And so I ended up getting a couple things from this distillery that we were supposed to get a chance to sample.
Yep.
And so we did our own little sampling that night. We made some guacamole at the house and hung out in the pool and had cocktails and stuff like that. And,
Awesome.
and it was great. But I could only find one of the liqueurs that these guys make. They make 3 different ones. They make a Naranja Agria, which is the sour orange liqueur,
Yeah,
which we
smell.
have here in our
It smells
margaritas.
amazing, by the way.
We then they make a Guanabana, which is a soursop liqueur.
No, you think it was banana with that name.
Yeah,
No,
but it's
yeah,
but it's soursop,
also-
which
also-
you know not even sure what that is either. So
it smells good.
and then they make a coconut one,
Yeah, which is
and which
crazy to me.
you know.
And we're set up to sample all of them.
And they make one other thing. They make Istabentune. Starts with an X.
Yeah,
And so in Mayan, the X is like a pronunciation. So you see like Cenote and it's like XU, XA, and it's like
oh,
Shuha. Or that's like how you pronounce it. I mean, so it's, yeah. So anyways, we have 4 different drinks that we've done here. And what was I going to look up?
I don't know.
I don't know, but we got to
So
sample.
what's the first one now?
Oh yeah, so this one. Oh yeah, this is the. So on their website, they have some really good little recipes, and this one has that sour orange liqueur. Dude, that's really good.
Amazing.
Yeah, tequila, lime juice, and agave.
And the liqueur.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's sour orange. Yeah.
Yeah, this would be.
If I made it again, I would maybe do a little bit less of the
I was
agave
gonna say. Yeah,
because it's pretty sweet.
it is. You could do it on the rocks too. Obviously, with even it's got a little salt flavor to it. Actually, kind of. I don't know if you really need salt. Yeah, but you could do it on the rocks. You could drink it up. It'll be really nice in a coupe glass with maybe an orange twist.
Cool.
Yummy.
So one of the things that I like to do with like a margarita or a tequila drink
Mm-hmm.
is I am actually not a big fan of like the salt rim.
Right.
I do like tahine
Mm-hmm.
on it, that lime chili powder. If you guys haven't seen that before.
Yeah, that stuff's really great.
And so what I usually do, even if I'm going to salt it, I'll take the lime and I'll juice just the side of the glass,
Yeah.
and then just roll half the glass in it, and then that way you don't have to ask people if you want salt or no salt, because you just gave them the option when you serve it up, and then it looks cool too.
It sure does.
You know, so
Tasty.
yeah.
Really good. We're traveling to Mexico. We're in Mexico now. So tell us about tell me about the trip. I think you filled me a little bit. You had a kind of you went to Ixtapa, right? Or you went to
No, we went to Chichen Itza.
Itza. That's right.
So that was the day after the day we went to the Costco.
Got it.
And Chichen Itza was incredible.
World Heritage Site.
It was, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a lot of Mayan ruins that you can hike up them and all that kind of stuff. Not at Chichen Itza. It's, they have it kind of like locked down.
Yeah, you don't want to hike up that thing anyway. Just like,
There's a lot of steps.
yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of steps.
You don't want to fall.
Yeah. So I'm actually doing a video, and
Oh, cool.
I filmed it yesterday in the studio, just sharing the story about our trip.
Oh, nice.
And because I took a bunch of video, and the videos and pictures don't do Chichen Itza justice. Like being there, like
Interesting.
It is amazing. So if I go back, I would go to a different Mayan ruin though.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would go south of Merida down to Uxmal. And there's some really cool ones down there. There's also like I also saw some really cool Mayan ruins just in doing some research out by Tulum.
Oh, no kidding.
And maybe not as big. They're not as big or as crazy. But the thing about them is that they have some of them like built on the cliffs of the sea.
Right.
And so you just have. I mean, it's just picturesque.
Yeah. Well, and you know they put that new train in.
Yes,
It's called
the Tren Maya.
Tren Maya. Amazing project. I mean, huge project.
Yep.
So for those of you who don't know, it's basically a high-speed train that circumnavigates the entire Yucatan Peninsula. And so it opens up a lot. You can actually take a train to some of these places. But what was unique about that when they were digging, creating the bed, they basically just cut a swath right through the jungle.
Right.
They came across
Found all sorts of stuff.
all
Right.
kinds of Mayan ruins.
Yeah.
Yeah, which gives you an idea. And then you've heard about they've done LiDAR where they fly over sections of the jungle and take images and they find, ruins that you can't even see, that are completely hidden underneath.
Yeah. And when you see the jungle, then you're like, oh yeah, I totally understand how that can happen. So we had a tour guide at Chichen Itza, which if anyone goes, spend the $60 and get a tour, get the guide.
For sure.
Dude, our guy was amazing. Amazing. He was, he's been doing it for 25 or 30 years, but he was still so enthusiastic about it. And maybe he isn't just put it on the show because he knows he's going to get a tip. Doesn't matter. He was so engaging, so much fun. And he's got this little satchel bag, pulls out this flip page, little booklet. Okay. And he's got photos. And he has these old photos of El Castillo, or I'm trying to remember what they call it in Mayan. I think it's Kulkakan or I can't remember it right now. It's not but he's showing me pictures of it before they did the restoration work.
Right. Yeah.
And so they didn't rebuild it. They restored it. So they would take a stone down. They would number the stone, and then they would work to kind of to clean it up.
Clean it up, yeah.
And then the stone would go right back in its spot.
Sure.
Totally
it's remarkable.
Totally crazy.
I mean, the walls that they built, just crazy in terms of the engineering. Also, I think about when I think about that movie Apocalypto.
Here was something crazy. So there's this ball field. It's got big walls, and there's these circular hoop things that you hit a ball through. The ball is a rubber ball. Yeah. From a tree. They make these rubber balls. And you can't use your hands. So some guys have sticks. Some guys, they use their hips and stuff.
Or their feet.
Or stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
The first person, so if you get the ball, it's a 1-0 game. The first person to score,
it's over,
is the winner.
Sure.
And the winner, the captain of the winning team, is sacrificed to the god. Not the loser. The winner. And this was really hard for our group to get their head around. They were asking questions, and he was explaining it. But this is ancient civilization. This is pre-modern, all sorts of stuff. And for them to be sacrificed to the god was it was an honor. It was such an honor, right?
Right.
And so then the guide comes over. He's like, look, here they depict it in their in the carvings on the wall.
Oh, sure.
And he starts pointing this out. Dude, it's crazy. It shows the losing, guy holding the head of the and there's blood squirting out. It's all chiseled into the rock. It was, I'm like, what?
That's like I said, it's like Apocalypto, the movie.
And if you didn't have a guide
you would
explaining this, you would have walked by and go, oh, look, someone's getting beheaded. Or you might not even seen that, right? Because it's faint, right?
Sure.
But it was so cool.
Yeah, it was kind of all fun and games until they tore your heart out.
Yeah. The crazy thing about this trip, though, was...
all the fishing you did.
Yeah. We didn't get to fish.
I know, that's great, right?
Yeah, it was a super bummer that we just hit it with,
You hit wind, right?
Lots of wind. Even when we were in Merida, which was
Inland.
It's very much inland.
Looking.
We're watching the palm trees just, sway, and we're like, oh, it's windy here. And so we got to Hawash to go do 3 days of tarpon fishing. We were meeting up with our shop manager, Doug, with a group of customers. They had shown up the day before us. They got 1 day of fishing in.
Yep. How was that day?
It was slow for one boat, but then really good for the other boat.
Okay.
One of the cool things is we had a father-son come on the trip, and his son's graduating from high school.
Cool.
Never had done this ever before.
Get out.
Landed his first tarpon on the fly. Like,
wow.
I mean, come on.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. That's what Mexico provides.
So we made the best of it with.
So what'd you do those days when you were just hanging out?
Okay, well, the place where we stayed, the really cool little palapa bungalows. We each have our own little bungalow, and they're around the swimming pools, and there's a couple different swimming pools, and it's on the beach.
Right.
And so I walked down to Sandflea's house and borrowed one of his Yeti coolers. And with permission, I asked them, I'm like, hey, can we borrow a cooler? So we got a cooler.
He's probably a Yeti guy anyway.
Oh, totally. He's got like 15 Yetis.
Exactly.
So, and they're not using them since their trips can't run. Right. So we just packed it full of Modelo Especial and,
nice.
Hung out by the pool. We had the cooler right next to the pool, and we hung out and just
made the best of it.
Yeah. So we did that like one day. And then, one of the things we did, Sandflea, where he lives like across the street from the beach, and his driveway is really long, and like it's connected to his property or something. Is a school. There's like these school buildings. I've never seen kids there, so I don't really understand what the deal is with that. But I had asked Sandflea
for school vacation,
right? And apparently every time I ever go there, they're always on vacation. So I'm like, so Sandflea. Last year was recognized at, I think it was at like the
IGFA or something. Yeah,
Merkin.
They got more permit than anybody.
Yeah, beat the Del Brown records. So when it comes to permit fishing, he's a deal. He beyond. He's a master. So
over 500.
Yeah. I'm like, so can we do like a Sandflea clinic on flats fishing?
Oh, okay.
And so we met in this. So like all of the guys, like we're all sitting in these little like kid tables, at
the school.
We went in one of the classrooms, and so Sandflea was up in the front, and we're like sitting there, and got to ask him a ton of questions, and then he just talked about fishing for bonefish, for tarpon, for permit. He talked about working with your guide, how to approach the front of the skiff. He talked about how do you see fish? He just talked through a ton of stuff.
Cool. That's really cool.
Oh, it was really cool.
People you should have recorded that.
Oh, we did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That was not a setup.
Yeah, no, so actually Jay, one of the guys in our group, had brought a little digital sound recorder, a DJI sound recorder. And so he recorded it. It was really echoey in the room.
Yeah, sure.
So I need to get the file from him and run it through that like Adobe podcast software that takes out echo and stuff like that. Yeah. It will test the Adobe system to see how well it does. But
I think it'll do well.
But I'm excited to get that back, and so
that's gold.
Yeah, and it was just fun to hang out with him. So then we had 2 days kind of hanging around, and there's lots of things to do, a lot of places to eat. Like it was super fun.
Great food.
But you're on an island and you're not fishing. Oh, we did like casting practice, and so I was working with guys helping them double haul and cast into the wind. We're practicing casting into the wind.
That's good.
So then I'm like, let's go on an adventure. So the last day, we took the ferry back across.
Okay.
Met up with our old van driver from the guy that brought us up from Merida.
Right.
And he took us about an hour away to Cinco Cenotes. And this family has 5 cenotes on their property.
You swam in the cenotes.
And they have 2 of them that you can swim in. So we
get out.
We paid to do both of them. One of them was more just like a straight walls down with like a long staircase into it with like roots growing right down in the middle and stuff like that is pretty cool. But then we went to the other one, and the other one, it's this super scary wood ladder going down into this little hole. like this little hole.
Tiny.
You get down there, and then you get to a platform, and then there's stairs that go down, and you're in this cavern, and this cavern it's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Right.
And you can go, you jump in the water and swim. There's like 3 different types of fish that are all swimming around. We were having a blast. I was really good at this too. I mean, I'm not even going to be humble. Like, I was pretty good.
Okay.
Catching these things.
Really?
Yeah. Other people were trying, but like, I mastered it. We would catch these little minnows that were swimming around.
Well,
most people, the fish would like, we would jump back out of their hands in between their their palms.
Sure.
But I got it just like where I could angle it and drain the water out of the bottom of my hand.
You had it.
And then I had the fish.
Right.
And then I'd throw it at someone.
Dude, help it, they're blind.
Yeah, Carl, I'd throw it at Carl. And it was, the water's like in the 70s. It's like you jump in, you're like, ooh, it's cold. And then you're like, no, it's not. This is perfect.
So do people know what cenotes are? What is a cenote?
Yeah, so a cenote, and there's like different kind of styles of cenotes.
Correct.
But there's over 10,000 cenotes on the Yucatan Peninsula, and they're like these underground, like caverns, caves, type of things that are filled with fresh water.
Right.
And a lot of them, apparently, because I think it's limestone.
It is limestone.
And I guess they were created from the big meteor, the one that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Oh, no kidding! I didn't know that.
So when the meteor created the Gulf of
America?
I set that one up perfect for you. Just
was good.
So
we'll call it the Gulf of Mexico.
Gulf of Mexico, because I was in Mexico.
That's correct.
So when it created the Gulf of Mexico, wiped out the dinosaurs, etc., when there was all these other pieces of it that hit the peninsula and kind of created, or something like that.
Well, there are
I obviously did not describe it very scientifically.
There are cenotes that connect to the sea in places.
Oh, really?
Well, so when you have some of these inland lakes in the Yucatan that have tarpon in them, big tarpon. So my understanding is because they connect, the smaller tarpon swim up the cenotes into these back jungle lakes.
And live there.
And then they get too big to be able to get out.
Oh my goodness.
So I remember when...
I haven't heard of this before. This is crazy.
Yeah, so I remember when the Trout Bum boys, who were the Geobass boys, those guys, they fished some inland lakes that were connected that had massive tarpon in them.
I remember seeing that video.
That's how they got
in.
I didn't. They got in through the cenote. Yeah. And I know there's a lake on one of the islands in the Bahamas. I can't remember which one, that has big giant tarpon in it as well. And it's the same thing. It's like, and the lake is not very far from the ocean. Like it's very close. Like, there's land that surrounds it, but there is underwater access. So I don't know if it technically qualifies as a cenote, but I believe it does.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the crazy thing that I'm thinking about right now. Okay, for all of us that started out fly fishing for just trout, and then eventually took a step out to explore something else, and then all of a sudden the world starts opening up of all of these other crazy things that you can go fish for in crazy places.
Well, I remember there was a thing, it was like the 8 stages of being a fly fisherman.
First you just want to catch a fish.
First one to catch fish. The second one is
a lot of fish.
That's right, exactly. What's the third one?
A big fish.
A big fish, right.
Yeah, and then you want to catch a big fish, maybe then you want to catch a fish a particular way, in a more challenging way.
Correct, yeah. There's a whole list of things. I can't remember the order.
Yeah, and then that's essentially a big fish. And then,
yeah, exactly. And then I think number 8 is catch a permit.
I catch a permit on a dry fly.
Well, there's that.
That
seems to be the thing these days.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, I've seen it done. I know it's a thing, and there's a bunch of movies out about it. But when I was down at Espiritu Santo Bay, the guide house was next to where the lodge was.
Yeah,
and so we'd all get back and shower up, and the guides would come out and they would fish out in front, which is on the ocean side, not on the bay side, and they would catch permit on topwater on the sargassum. That's basically where they were getting them. They would just kind of throw right on the edge.
I tried my last day in Cuba.
That's what you said.
I got a bonefish on the dry fly, on the floating crab, but no permit. I probably could have had a legit shot earlier in the week if I had just like thought, oh, I should put on a dry fly. But I just like, I was in my rut of fly must sink, you know.
Well, that's the whole thing. And, you know, I think that's part of it. Like permit, they do take stuff on top, but nobody ever threw
The
stuff
sound
on
is really crazy. And it sounds very different when they're close to you. And because then they sound like a koi or a carp, like you hear them sucking the surface of water. But when you hear like far away, it sounds more like a smack.
Yeah.
You hear this like smack, and then the guy's like, that was a permit. You're like, what?
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like not all the sound travels. Like it just
Really?
kind of changes on the water.
They're pretty remarkable.
It's pretty,
Got a bunch
pretty wild.
of-
Are you done with your drink?
Yeah, we got to go to another one, right?
Okay, we'll get to the next one.
How do we? Oh, we got it with us. Okay. So
Okay, cheers.
So what's this
This
one
one's
now?
the Rosetta. I wonder where they get the name for it.
I don't know. Jeez. It's a good name. Wow. Very floral. Like,
I like it.
I do.
I like it. It's good.
Yeah. More of a dessert drink, maybe? Or, yeah. That's good.
Okay, so what's in this one?
Yeah.
Because we went over the last one.
Yep.
So this one has the Guanabana liqueur,
Yep.
aged rum. So we have the
Okay.
Havana Club 7-year.
Yep.
Cranberry juice, and I actually didn't have cranberry juice. It was cran raspberry.
Oh, okay.
So you can that's what that you can kind of taste a little bit of
That's
that.
probably what's getting yeah.
And then
Cranberry would be a little more bitter, probably, but
yeah,
Still
and then
good.
lime juice and natural syrup. And so instead of just putting simple syrup in,
put agave
we
in.
put agave in.
Yeah.
because it's what we had.
it's good. It's very
So,
good.
Yeah.
And again, you could do this both ways. Rocks. I'd drink this up in a coupe, or I like drinking my drinks and up in like martini glasses or cups and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
And that's what they show it in. They show it in a coupe, but here we are.
Yeah.
I mean, I already have a bit of dishes to do, so I figured
Why not?
I'll just use one glass.
Exactly.
And these are cool because these glasses
I like
have
these permit on them.
it's a
What's
permit,
left of a permit?
and a
A bonefish.
permit and a bonefish.
Which
Is there not
apparently-
more than that?
Well,
These
I
are
think
from Rep Your Water.
they've kind of they've lost a little bit of their stuff, or is that the way they were? No.
They were kind of like that. Well, look at mine. This one's missing the whole top part of the.
Yeah, it's
It's because my thumb goes there. It's worn it off.
the dishwasher program.
Yeah. So
You know, I've always thought about. So I don't know if you've seen like there's I get the ads on Instagram all the time. Like you can buy these engravers that you can do rock or
yeah,
glass.
I get those. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, and they're not that expensive.
Yeah.
And I was like, it would be super cool to do
I'll show you.
glasses. What, you have one?
No, I don't.
But you have a glass that's etched. What do you
No.
have?
But a customer
You do a pattern.
that went to Cuba with me in 2022,
He did something for you.
he did this.
Get out.
Oh, 2023, because look, he put the year on there.
It's like scrimshaw.
That's what it is.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that rad?
Yeah, ever see that? I don't know if you
Yeah.
can see it.
That's pretty cool.
It's really cool. I should hold it up to the camera.
And when we were down there, we found these like little leather
Yeah, look at that.
things.
Oh, look at you being a tourista.
Dude. Hey, you got to support the people.
No doubt. Keep us
You're
on my bucket list.
Yeah.
I gotta go. I
know. I just
Gotta
don't.
go
I don't know if there's any time to. If you don't go this year, I'm not sure it's going to happen for a couple of years.
It's going to double in price too. I heard.
So
Is that true?
okay, so Jardines de la Reina, the Gardens of the Queen, is the original fishing spot in Cuba. It's on the south east portion of the country, 50 miles offshore. The archipelago,
Right.
you have to take a little bit of a boat ride out to there. There used to be a floating barge called Tortuga, and then they had like a little boat shed next to that, and that was the original operation from way back, you know,
Right.
25 years ago, whatever, 30 years ago.
That's not the same guys that are operating now. The guys that own the boats, Avalon, right?
Yeah, but I think it might have been.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that they.
They're Italians, right?
Yeah, from Argentina.
Mm.
Yeah.
Italians from Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, So, anyways,
I don't think they're the mafia, so be careful.
yeah, I don't think so either. They're nice guys. I've met
Yeah.
several of them.
That's what I hear.
So they expanded that area with a boat, in addition to Tortuga,
Yeah.
and then they expanded with like another boat, and then pretty soon there were like
Too many boats.
several boats. The water was probably like getting a little bit too pressured,
Yeah.
and Cuba got hit so hard with COVID.
Yeah.
Just the lockdown. It impacted them because tourism is so big for them.
Yeah. Shut down.
And then it really hasn't come back. Like there's still 40%. They have 40% less tourists than in 2019.
Whoa.
And this is 5 years after COVID, right? So
Right.
so they had the issue of so many guides that had tip money leaving the country.
Oh.
And
Okay.
so they couldn't replace the guides leaving fast enough. So I even heard from someone that they're like, hey, we did a trip and we had a couple on our trip that did not catch a fish the entire week
What?
because their guide didn't know anything. The guy was following other guides around, didn't know.
Oh God.
So what they're doing is they're gonna scale it all back.
Mhm.
They're gonna Tortuga's gone, by the way. They've gotten rid of that now, but they're gonna scale it back, really limit the amount of anglers that fish that water. They're gonna just use their best guides.
Is that where you usually go, to that area? Where do you, I mean, I heard
This was where I went the first time I ever went
Yeah.
in 2016, and I did a trip there in 2020 and 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I saw a post that I think Leland did. Everybody knows Leland, Milwaukee. He runs trips there, and he was promoting one of Kovich's trips, just as a favor to John. And it was basically the location. I think it's the Bay of Pigs operation kind of thing.
Playa Larga.
Yeah.
I've done that one.
Yeah, supposedly that's a good one too. But that's land-based or?
It's land-based. So you stay in Playa Larga.
Yeah, uh-huh.
You have about a 45-minute taxi ride down to the
water,
to the dock.
Gotcha.
It's great.
Yeah.
So it's a cool experience. It's different. There's a really good chance that if we can legally go to Cuba, that I might put together. I'm thinking about two things for 2027. One, last year in 2024, my wife and I hosted a cultural trip to Cuba.
Right.
And it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was so great. I've kept in contact with some of the guides and some of the tour guides and some of the different people that we met down there.
Yep.
I chat with them on WhatsApp and stuff like that. And
thank God for WhatsApp, right?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. So I would love to host another cultural trip down there again. And last year when we did that, it was divided in a way or set up in a way that guys could fish 4 days.
Perfect.
And then the rest of us, and I only fished the very last day with my wife.
Okay.
Because I wanted to do the other cultural stuff.
Sure.
So, so I got to go to Cienfuegos in Trinidad, and the fishermen didn't get to do that.
Got it.
So I would love to do that again. For the fishing portion, we did base out of Playa Larga.
Gotcha.
And so it's only about 3 hours south of Havana. It puts you in a relatively short drive to Cienfuegos in Trinidad.
Okay.
And we spent one night in Trinidad away from the anglers. And Trinidad is
really,
it's so cool.
Really?
It's such a crazy cool place to go see.
Yeah. I never even thought about going to Trinidad actually.
Yeah. It's kind of, cause it's on the southern shore and it's down a little bit further.
Yeah.
But I mean, it has all of these tile roofs and it's this old, 500-year-old, Spanish colonial
Been
city.
there forever. Yeah.
Cienfuegos, which is close by, totally different architecture because it had it was more influenced by French architecture.
Right. Yeah, they've had a lot of
totally looks So, and it's on a port, like it's, so it's just totally different. Yeah. So anyways, I would love to do that trip again.
Yeah. I mean, that's
fish out of Playa Larga. And if I can't do that, then I might just do host a fishing trip just do Playa Larga.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love just doing the Georgiana boat. And because I have a great relationship with the guides there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done 5 trips on the Georgiana, and those guys are,
solid.
Yeah, they're great, and like, we love to see each other. It's it's big hugs when I see them, and it's like it's sad to see them go.
So are they permit fever guys, or will they do whatever you want?
Well, they'll do whatever.
Okay, because that's my big thing. It's like oftentimes it's like, we're gonna go up if they they really want to catch permit. It's like,
they do,
right?
I mean, any guy that says that. Permit or tarpon are not their favorite, like, isn't telling you the truth.
Well, yeah, no doubt. But I remember in ESB, it was like, okay, senor, what do you want? I was like, well, yeah, permit.
Yeah.
But, it depends on obviously tide and whatever, right?
Right.
Like, whatever makes sense. But yeah. I'm a snook guy.
Yeah.
I think they're harder to catch than permit, personally.
Yeah. Well, they have snook there in.
Yeah.
Like
my experience in ESB, like I catch more permit than I do snook.
Yeah, that's a great problem to have.
Yeah, because ESB, it's Espiritu Santo Bay. It's interesting. There was 1 operation in there. Now there's 3, and so that fishery is not going to maintain the way it used to be, which is unfortunate. I get it; it's business, but and I think you bring up a good point. I think the Cuba thing brings up a good point when you talk about cultural. Oftentimes, you take a trip, you go to a place, you get on the bus, you go to the lodge. You do your fishing, you get back on the bus, you go back to the airport, and you leave. Like, that is, to me, and we talked about New Zealand. People go to New Zealand and they go fish Cedar Lodge or Owens Lodge. They go and they fish for 7 days or 8 days, and they're out. They don't get to see anything.
Right.
It's like, it's beautiful and spectacular, but you don't get to experience the culture and the other aspects of what makes, like, I think New Zealand amazing. And so it would be the same for me. Like, how can you not go to Cuba and spend a few days in Havana? Right?
Well, so with Jardines de la Reina, it's a 6-hour bus ride from Havana.
Mm-hmm.
So people fly into Camagüey
quicker,
and it's a shorter ride. And so they fly into Camagüey, and it's like an hour and a half to the port.
Yeah,
and then they fly out of there. And we flew out of there one year.
Yeah,
in 2023. But so what I did in 2023, we flew into, or was it 2020?
Too many trips.
It was 2023. We flew into Havana.
Yeah.
Took the long bus ride.
Yeah.
But we got to go to Havana. And I've been to Havana a lot of times.
Right.
But if it's your first time going to Cuba and you're not going to go to Havana, you got to see it. It is like, it's such a fascinating place.
Well, it's locked in time to some extent.
Yeah. So it's worth the 6-hour bus ride because of what you get to see and do.
Yeah, and you get to see the countryside when you're driving on the bus.
You would think that would be a highlight, but after you've seen about like 20 minutes of it,
you're done.
You've seen the next 6 hours.
It's all green
it's the same.
It's tropical.
You're like, hey, look, there's a guy with an ox.
A cart.
And you're like, oh, hey, look, another guy with an ox.
Right.
So the price for Jardines.
Yeah.
It's the off-season rate is going up to $11,000.
What? And
then the
in-season?
Like the high season is going to like 14 or something like that. Yeah. So the nice thing about the Georgiana boat that I do or the Playa Larga thing is that you get to experience Havana. It's 3 hours on a bus down there.
Yeah.
And then you're you don't have the big price hike either.
Gotcha. Nice. All right.
So
I got to figure that out because I want to go.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you got a trip coming up.
Yeah, I'm leaving on Monday for
Christmas
Island.
It's Thursday. Kiritimati.
Yes,
Christmas. That's how it got its name. People don't realize, right?
Yeah. So you've been
a bunch of times.
Well,
probably maybe not as much as you.
Well, I don't know. I've only been 3 times.
Yeah, I think I've been, if you include all my double weeks that I was there, probably 6 times.
Dude, you double weeks?
Yeah, I had one time I was there for 2 full weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're doing Chevalier research. with Dr. Andy Danielchuk.
Okay, I want to hear some stories, but first,
Yeah.
we've just
What do we
poured
got?
our next one. This one is called the Kalani White Merida.
This has got the coconut in it.
So it has the coconut liqueur. It has tequila, extra dry vermouth,
Yep.
and a pinch of salt.
It's like a tequila martini with coconut in it.
Yeah, so
Wow. Wow.
oh,
That's amazing.
oh.
That is
I
amazing.
was a little nervous about the dry vermouth in there because I'm
No,
not
that's-
always a huge fan of dry vermouth,
That's
but
really good.
dang,
That's really amazing.
This
This
is
is kind of like a little salty, got a little
I can't
little
even.
coconut, a little. It's kind of that's wonderful.
Yes, no, I love this one.
Yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, I kind of wish this was the last one. Like,
This was a bigger one.
okay, so Christmas Island.
Christmas Island. Yeah, I've been there a bunch.
Research.
Well, so a couple things. So I first started going. It was kind of a Patagonia boondoggle, actually. We went. I think I was a fly fishing sales manager, and we had some folks. We had a photo shoot, and we fished out of the villages, and
Okay,
it was amazing. I
Yeah.
caught a giant javali on the fly there, like
I remember
a big one, yeah, like 80 pounds or something. So and all that lined up. It was wonderful. And then started going back and fishing out of the Akari house, which is still active. And the difference was that Akari had pongas. I mean, they have access to the classic outriggers that you see there.
Yeah.
But we were able to fish offshore really effectively. And so what happened was, so my friend Andy Danielchuk, people may know, he's does a bunch of science around bonefish and tarpon and
On Instagram, he's Fish Mission.
Fish Mission. That's right. And his wife Sasha is the executive director at Keep Fish Wet. And so back in the day, Andy was doing bonefish research for Bonefish Tarpon Trust. And in those days, the way you did bonefish research was you would catch a bonefish and then you would take a little tiny little hook and put it in their dorsal fin with a piece of mono with a little balloon on the end of it, like a float. And then you'd let it go. And then you'd follow it around. And what would happen in the Bahamas is 80% of the time it would get eaten by a shark.
Shark.
So
Because those sharks love balloons.
they do. It's an indicator. And so, oh, there it is right there.
Yeah.
And so no one has really had done any research on the Pacific bonefish because it's a different.
Like 5 species of
Yeah,
them,
it's a
right?
different species.
Subspecies.
So it's like, I'm going to do it. So we go and we do the whole thing and put a little hook on the thing and no predation, like none.
Balloon? Nope. Same setup with
Same
balloons.
set-
The whole
The whole
thing.
thing, we follow it around and there's no predation. So it's kind of, we took blood and all
This
those.
was on Christmas Island, or
This is on Kiritimati, yeah,
Okay.
Christmas Island. So that same week, there were 2 Japanese guys staying in the lodge,
okay.
and they were with the Carpenter Lure Company. They do more than lures; they do rods. And so, like, the most beautiful stick baits and poppers you've ever seen in your life. They're like $180.
That you feel bad throwing them to a fish. 'cause,
Without the
don't
split,
scratch them.
that's without the split rings, without the hooks.
Yeah.
So they want to go fish the Korean wreck from the boat.
Yeah. Okay, explain what the Korean wreck is for people that haven't been to Christmas Island.
So there's a spot. The wreck is no longer there. There is a classic photo taken at the wreck that Sage had, and it's Dylan Tomina actually making a cast in front of the wreck. So it was some kind of Korean cargo ship that was coming in. It ran aground and it rolled over, and the skeleton of the wreck was there for a long, long time.
Yeah.
It's long gone. I think the Australians actually cleaned it up and took it all out because they came in and took out a lot of that stuff. So the wreck is no longer there, but that's what we call it. So, well, you can't take one boat to the Korean wreck.
And what if you had boat problems?
You're dead. You're floating all the way to who knows where, right?
Yeah.
So they go, would you guys be willing to come with us in the other Ponga with us? And we're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And so at that time we were fly guys, but we would bring conventional tackle.
Yeah.
And the way we would bring conventional tackle is like all pool our money And we bought like, I don't know, a couple $1,000 worth of stuff at Bass Pro. And it was all like Daiwa, like just, okay stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And we would use it to try to catch some stuff to, for food.
Right.
So we go down.
You don't want to starve.
No, well, yeah, that's part of the Christmas Island thing, right? You could catch some tuna for sashimi and all the above.
Oh.
So we run all the way down to the Korean wreck, and it's a haul in the boat. It's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like past the airport.
It's the other way.
Yeah.
Right. It's a long way.
Yeah.
So we run all the way down, and those guys are there testing rods and lures and the whole thing. So we're down there, we're bobbing around, we get all the way down there, and we're throwing our conventional gear. So we didn't have, Carpenter lures, we had, Zebco, whatever. And we proceeded to break every single piece of gear that we had. So I got this story is unbelievable. So we were fishing, I can't remember the name of the brand. It was some kind of Daiwa rod and reel setup. It had 80-pound braid on it. I know it had 80-pound braid on it.
Yeah.
And I cast out, some kind of spooky thing, and it came all the way in, and it was sitting at the bow of the boat, and Andy was standing right next to me.
Like a Zara spook.
Yeah.
Like one of those plugs that you watch the dog with them.
And so it's sitting in the water
next to the boat.
2 feet off of the boat, the bow of the boat. And we're sitting there, we're talking, and then this bait fish comes out of the water and bangs off the front of the boat. Like goes, boink. I looked at Andy, I was like, what was that all about? And we looked down, and the biggest trevally I have ever seen comes up and eats the bait, eats the
plug.
Eats the plug.
Jeez.
And like, wow! And so I literally, and it rockets to the stern of the boat and breaks off 80-pound.
Oh my God.
And it literally sounded like a gunshot going off.
Wow.
And so we crushed the trevally down there until all our gear was broken. And it was all conventional tackle.
Yeah.
So we get back to the lodge, and I remember the Japanese guys are there, and he takes the reel we have, and he unscrews it all, and it had like carbon fiber discs in it.
Yeah.
And they're all like melted together. And he goes, he goes, oh, no good. So then they're running Shimano Stella stuff.
Those are really nice.
And they're on their Carpenter rods, and they have these beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
And so he sets this up, and he wraps some line around like the thing with the padding on it. And he tells my buddy to grab it, and he cranks the drag down, and he says, try to pull line off of it. And he can't.
Yeah.
Like it's that,
wow.
And so he's like, so we went back the following year with Andy and 2 grad students for 2 weeks with Shimano Stellas. So I have a Stella 18,000, which is, I think it's an 18.
Aren't those like $1,500 a reel or something?
So this was a really, $1,500 retail.
Yeah.
I got a pro deal on it. It was $1,100.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of markup on
Right.
them. But everybody talks about, like, that was the one thing that changed my mind. Like, we know we look at beautiful fly reels and we get all goo gaga over them.
Oh, totally.
Like you look at a Shimano Stella and you go,
Yeah.
it is an amazing engineering.
It is.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So I went with Shimano sticks, and I had I was getting my lures from a company. I can't even remember the name of them, but they were super cool. But my buddies were buying like Carpenter stuff, like super expensive, like. And those things, like you would catch 3 or 4 trevally on them, and it wouldn't even look like there'd not even a scratch on them.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say they were just
no, because I got 9 layers of lacquer. And
oh, wow.
They're
okay.
beautiful.
So they're
beautiful,
the real deal.
So, and so what the research was, so we would catch trevally, and then Andy had made these tags that we would zip tie to their tails.
Okay.
And at that time, it wasn't about, doing surgery and putting in a receiver,
Right.
and then setting up, actually, so it would be having receivers in the water, which is what he's doing in the Seychelles.
Right.
now.
Right. Yeah.
So this was kind of the initial stuff, and then these were stuff he made in his like kitchen. So he literally took a Fitbit apart. So the guts of the Fitbit,
Yeah.
which gives you speed. You got tail beat, you got distance, you got speed, and it had a little thing. And so literally we would get it in, he would take blood, and then they would put the zip tie around, and then we'd let it go.
Yeah.
And then the releases are called galvanic releases.
Yeah.
And so a galvanic release is it literally comes apart after a certain amount of time in salt water.
Yeah.
And you can adjust the release time in advance by putting it in salt water in a glass.
Okay.
And you go, okay, it's a 4-hour galvanic release. You leave it in a glass for 2, take it out.
Right.
So we had varying release times.
Yeah.
So we'd release it, and then the thing would pop off, and we had the little, like, literally the radar little thing we had, and we would go find it and pick it up.
Yeah.
So here's the interesting thing. The research hadn't, like, it was very new. That research is going to be published here very soon.
Oh, wow.
It's been that long.
It's been that long.
It's been that long.
Wow.
And
that's
so,
crazy.
and it's actually dedicated to Moana, the research. Because Moana, for those of you who don't know.
Not the Disney movie.
Not the Disney movie. So Moana was a famous guide on Christmas Island.
Right.
A legend, like just incredible. I had a chance to fish with him singly on multiple occasions. Had some amazing experiences with him. He's since passed away. We have some recordings, but the research is dedicated to him. There is some, it's been submitted to the journals for publication.
Yeah.
They came back and said, we'd like, typical, we'd like to see some of the language cleaned up or, whatever.
Oh, so you wrote it.
And I didn't.
Too much profanity, Brian.
Yeah, probably. I do have a habit of doing that. So it's coming out soon. And so super proud of that. But that's what we did. And the whole Christmas Island thing, there's a whole, I had a podcast that I wrote, I had a podcast called Real Pure Radio. It's actually the name of my Substack now. And I wrote a thing about Paradise Lost, which is about Christmas Island. And so you go there and it's paradise. I mean, it's spectacular. Yeah. It's the largest coral atoll in the world. I mean, it's just spectacular. The water, the colors, all of it. It's amazing. But it has a dark past that a lot of people don't realize. It was literally very close and in some cases ground zero for nuclear testing.
Right.
And at one point in time,
for the Brits and the Americans,
both.
Yeah.
The Brits actually set off a bomb that was tethered to the island.
Yeah.
And it's called the M site. You can actually,
that one was in the air, right, on a balloon.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It was on a balloon, and you can actually go to the spot.
I camped right next to it without knowing.
Did you bring a Geiger counter? It's been a long time, but
I do have my Hulk moments, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so, and interestingly enough, when they did that hydrogen bomb test, I think it was a hydrogen bomb, balloon above, they didn't move people off the island.
No.
They just pushed them all to one end and said, look that way.
Yeah. Jeez.
And it went off and it caused major problems.
Right.
And that's the story all throughout the South Pacific with all of that testing.
Yeah.
But, one story to just give you the idea of Paradise Lost. So Simon Corey, or as you would call him on Christmas Island, Timon, because S's are T's, right? So Simon is Timon. And Simon's another legend. His brother was Big Eddie, who was a legend on that island, right? Yeah, I mean, Big Eddie is not only big, he's the biggest guy on Christmas Island, but there's lots of stories about Big Eddie. Simon said that I don't know if his father or his grandfather told him stories that after the nuclear test, he got paid to walk down the beach with a pickaxe to kill the birds whose eyes were all melted out. The boobies, because his green-footed boobies, all of it. And so those birds had...
frigates and...
all of it had just gotten nuked when that bomb went off. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch. And I've got stories. I mean, the friends that I used to go with to Christmas Island, one of them in particular used to own a lodge on Christmas Island.
Right.
And actually walked away from it because essentially Big Eddie and conspired to basically take it away from him to some extent. The great thing about Christmas Island, this is really amazing. So I didn't fly fish, most of my life. And I used to work for a company, Yakima Racks, the reef rack company.
Yeah.
And the guy that owned it was a guy named Don Banducci. And I remember I started working for Yakima in 1988. And I remember him telling a story that I overheard. He wasn't telling me the story. was telling somebody else the story about being on Christmas Island.
Huh.
And I remember hearing it and thinking to myself, I don't fish, but that sounds amazing.
Oh, he wasn't trying to sell the locals Yakima rocks?
No.
Oh, okay.
And what was really funny is
Thanks for clarifying
he
that.
actually got banished from the island
Oh,
because they were wherever at lodge or whatever it was. And I don't think there were many at that time.
You're right.
Because I think this was
Probably Captain Cook.
Yeah.
That was probably it.
Yeah. This was probably, 70s maybe. Or
Oh,
early.
wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He was at the lodge and there was a bunch of Japanese guys at the lodge. Japanese, had found it, pretty early. And they all had napkins on their heads. They had, tied up their napkins and put them on their heads and were drunk and carrying on. And Don made some comments about, don't never forget Pearl Harbor.
Oh, jeez.
And so the lodge guys were like, you're never coming back.
You're never coming. Yeah.
So what's really crazy is my last trip to Christmas Island,
Yeah.
My friend who was organizing it pings me and says, an old buddy of yours is actually coming on this trip. And it was Don,
Oh, okay.
who I had first heard that story from.
Wow.
That had kind of it sounded magical and amazing
Right.
back then when I didn't fish.
Right.
And so I had a chance to actually fish with him on the island. So
Wow.
that was super cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, really amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's super fun. But it's,
Finish your drink.
I'm there. It is, and the cool thing about Christmas Island, everybody yeah, you want to go to the Seychelles for, $19,000 a week.
Right.
I get it. You can catch all the same fish on Christmas Island.
For $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just stay there for 6 weeks instead.
You could. You might if the plane doesn't come get you. So
Well, there's the same issue in the Seychelles too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
There's a lot of travel involved in that, and there's plenty of things that can go wrong.
Yeah, the Christmas Island thing is actually relatively easy, right? It's just they overnight in Hawaii and then they're there.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of talk about, we talked about this a little bit earlier, is Fanning Island, which is not far from Christmas Island. It used to be only accessible from Christmas by boat.
There's a flight once a
now
week.
There's a flight. Yeah, I think it's Tuesday, Thursday, something like that. So
if you try to do Fanning, you essentially have to be on Christmas for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, exactly. So yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna grab the next round.
Okay. What do we got now?
Okay.
We're like the McKenzie brothers. Hey, loser.
This one is the Bolshe Memories, and
Memories.
this one has the Stabentune in it.
The Stabentune. I love that name. There's just something about you could.
It's great.
It's a Stabentune.
Stabentune, and
Sounds
it's
German.
supposed to have pineapple juice.
But we didn't have pineapple.
We didn't have pineapple juice, so we used a
Pineapple liqueur?
Modelo Agua Frescas La Piña,
Which has alcohol in it.
which has alcohol in it,
Little
but
bit.
it has a splash of pineapple juice.
Just enough.
And then we used a pineapple liqueur from, I don't remember where it's from.
You got it on one of your trips, probably.
No, it was a gift from Jack Naughton.
Oh, it's good.
And he got it traveling, I think maybe in Europe,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
but I'm not sure. But we put a little bit of that in there.
Yeah.
And then there's some mezcal,
Smoky.
lime juice.
Yeah.
The thing we left out was we were supposed to put in 3 basil leaves.
Oh, it's too early for basil.
Well, and
I got to grow some basil this year.
I didn't have any basil.
Yeah, we got to grow some basil, right? You were growing basil before.
Oh, yeah.
Crushing it.
I grow all sorts of
We're
things.
the last one. We got 16 minutes left, 15 now. We're going to run this whole program. We're going to go right down to
That memory card is going to be
Mm-hmm.
whoop, full. Okay, so Fanning Island.
Yeah, so Fanning, I think that operation is actually kind of fully operating right now, from what I understand. So,
This is not bad.
no, it's really good, actually. Really good. It's fresh.
Yeah. It's
like
a little bit pineapple-y citrusy,
Yeah, it's wonderful.
but then you have that slight anise flavor from the Stabentune.
Yeah, and can't taste the mezcal at all.
Wait, did we put mezcal in it?
You were supposed to, weren't you?
I think I might have forgot.
I don't taste any smoky mezcal in there. Yeah. Get back to work.
Dang it. Yeah, I think
It's good. It's good without it.
It's good without it.
Yeah, it's
But I
okay.
think I forgot the mezcal.
I think you did too, because it would come through in a big way.
Yeah.
So you're leaving next week. Yeah. I mean, Christmas Island, Kiritimati was what we really should call it, because that's its cultural name. And part of the reason why they call it Christmas Island, because the T's are S's and the when people tried to say the actual name, it sounded like Christmas, so they called it Christmas Island. Other people say, well, it's because Captain Cook discovered it around Christmas, so that's the Christmas thing too. And that was like after he left Christmas Island, he went to Hawaii and they killed him, so it was kind of a bummer for him.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, he was murdered in Hawaii.
Oh,
Yeah, I've actually kayaked over and snorkeled where they killed him.
oh,
Like there's a little memorial there for him.
huh.
Yeah, it's in this really cool spot. But yeah, you do more than just show up at the lodge when you go to Christmas Island, right?
Yeah.
You bring stuff for the kids.
Oh yeah. Did you see my hallway downstairs?
I haven't. Yeah,
Oh, dude,
yeah.
I got so much stuff down there. I don't even know if I can fit it all in the extra bag that I'm bringing.
Yeah,
it's-
so that is the difference. It is the people there are amazing. They deal with all kinds of issues there, health wise.
yeah, clean water.
Well, clean water is amazing. Like there's no clean water there. Like
Except for the tourists.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, we get clean water,
That's right.
and that's probably the number one reason why. Well, maybe I mean, yeah, clean water and diet are probably the two things of why life expectancy is not over 50.
It's way short, and
Yeah.
prenatal or infant death is very high because of water. And there is a group out there that is doing these kind of portable desalinization
Yeah.
stuff. They've tried to clean the water up there. I think the Australians have tried. Everybody's tried.
Yeah.
But there's something in the water. It's some kind of, and I've gotten sick over there twice
Oh, really?
from the water, and trust me, it is not something you want to experience. It's
Yeah.
really rough. After that first time, I came prepared, like Cipro.
Right.
Like when as soon as you had, you take a couple of Cipro and you kill everything in your system.
Right.
But it's ugly. On my first trip there, it was like literally the last day, but I get like on my way to the airport.
Oh no.
And so I like ate 8 Imodiums. 8 Imodiums. And I made it from Christmas Island to Honolulu.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Got on the flight from Honolulu back to Seattle.
Yeah.
We're taking off, and I'm like, oh no. Okay, as soon as the seatbelt sign goes off, I'm good. I'm going.
Like, don't tie that seatbelt up too tight.
Turbulence. Seatbelt sign is not coming off. I gotta go. And I'm on a window seat.
Right.
So like, I gotta go. So I get up and I'm like going down the hallway, and the stewardess comes over the loudspeaker.
Right.
Sir,
Yeah.
the seatbelt sign is illuminated. Get back to your seat. I literally go to the stewardess. I go, I'm sorry, but I'm going to shit my pants if I don't get in there. She's like, okay. And then she let me sit in the jump seat the whole way home
Yeah. Wow.
because I had to sit next. Like, it didn't matter.
Right.
I was so sick.
Yeah.
But like, I know people that when they go to Christmas Island, they literally, when they take a shower, they tape their mouths shut.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I might need to have a new plan here for this week.
Yeah. So the rule is
Bring
don't
tape.
eat anything if it's not peeled or cooked. So like salads, like, yee.
Dude, we never get salad.
Oh, we used to get salad every night.
Oh, I wish we got salad.
Mhm.
Where are they getting salad from?
Iceberg lettuce, tomatoes, the whole deal.
From where? Like, we get rice,
No,
fried, like,
whatever.
we get French fries, rice, and like a meat.
It's mystery meat. Is it chicken? Is it pork? You can't really tell.
Yeah,
We used to have-
it's like beef and
We used to have, we had a lot of
Chicken.
fish. We had a lot of fish.
well, okay, so this is what I do.
You bring wasabi with you?
They have it there. They always have wasabi and soy sauce at the lodge.
They do.
Yeah,
Wow.
the lodge we go to Sunset Horizon. So
That's good for them.
The first year we were like, we have to catch tuna because we don't want to just.
No, we ate.
It's such a remote island; it's hard to get supplies in, right?
Yeah,
So we went out fishing,
yeah,
and
We did the same.
we spent half a day.
catching tuna.
Well, we caught one, and it was little,
Okay,
and it was a lot of work from all of us to get one.
right.
Those boats aren't really set up great for doing that. And
That's why
if
a
you
garden
want to,
house
if
is-
you want to go catch blue water fish,
Yep.
come with me to Magdalena Bay in October.
There you go.
Like, yeah, go
Come on with 50 pounds of tuna.
yeah, do an actual blue water
Tuna
trip, right?
right. Yeah.
So the second year, I'm like, I'm not gonna waste time. I'm here to flats fish. I want to go catch triggerfish and GTs and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I tell the lodge manager, I'm like, can we just pay to have 2 tunas caught and brought.
Oh, there you go.
You know, because they have local fishermen, right?
Yeah,
like we'll buy tuna.
Yeah.
And he was this big guy, big happy guy. He's just smiling at me and kind of just like, I'm like, I don't think he understood anything I said. And we come back and like the whole table is just filled with tuna, like sashimi and with wasabi and soy sauce. I'm like, oh man. So then last year when we were there, I said the same thing. I'm like, hey,
go catch tuna.
If we could get tuna.
That's a great idea.
And they were able to, like the second to last day, they were able to get us tuna.
Gotcha.
And so we had
we would catch wahoo.
Oh, really? On the fly?
No, trolling.
Yeah.
Bucktailing or whatever. Fast.
Yeah.
And wahoo.
They're crazy.
And so we would have like full plates of wahoo.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Like sushi.
Amazing.
Like incredible. Yeah. But yeah, Mag Bay. I got to figure that program out.
For sure. Yeah. Straight marlin, tuna, dorado, wahoo.
Yeah.
Inshore stuff too. Yeah.
November, nice, perfect in Mexico that time of the year.
Last week of October.
First week in November.
Yeah. And then we can fly back some tequila and mezcal and not have to worry about prices.
Especially with your hard side of luggage.
Right.
Blake turned me on to this thing, so I was like, how do you travel with all this stuff? And he's like, I use a giant Pelican case.
Pelican Air 1615, I think is the model number.
I bought one. It was like $350, something like that. It's
worth it.
It's unbelievable.
Worth it. Like I've done so many trips with that thing, and it's
you can put your rods in there without tubes.
Right, just rod socks, and they don't fit diagonal; they fit lengthwise.
Likewise, yeah.
And you can stack them, and then they take up no room.
No room, and then you can put your bottles of booze when you're coming back.
Right. I bring some 2-gallon Ziplocs.
Yeah.
And I just roll them up in like bubble wrap.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to bring back stuff that you can't get other places, you know?
All the time.
Like all these things that I brought back from Mexico. It's so much fun.
Amazing.
So much fun.
I'll say.
Yeah.
That's it.
Both of ours are gone. I think that means our memory card on the camera is almost gone too.
Great.
This has been fun.
I hope do it again.
I hope.
I'm your co-host now anyway.
Yeah, we'll
stuck with me.
We're
gonna have to do a recording at my house.
We'll do it again, except I won't be able to bring any booze back from Christmas Island because there is none.
Well, they do have a hooch that's up in the trees. You've seen that, right?
Oh, I haven't.
No, don't even do it. So
I bet it's horrible.
So as somebody explained to me, my first trip there, it goes down real easy, but coming back up, it's terrible. And you'll see it, like they have the bottles up in the tree fermenting.
Yeah.
And like there's a trail of ants going up in and out of it.
Oh, I wonder if it's coconut or something.
It is coconutty. Oh, yeah. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it is.
So I'm like, what else is like sugary that they could?
It's coconut. Yeah. It's firewater for sure. Yeah.
My goodness. Well, I'm excited to go Christmas Island.
I can't wait to hear about it. It's going to be great.
Maybe when I get back,
we'll do another show.
We'll do another show. Yeah. And talk about other fun stuff for the summer as well as a Christmas Island report.
Bay and
man,
cutthroat season. 8 million pinks coming back to the show.
8 million. 7.8 million.
7.8 million pinks.
So 2 years ago, they had like 7 million come back, but they had predicted 3.7 or something like that. So they were like super, super wrong. So
yeah.
So I'm wondering, like,
maybe it was 3.2 coming back.
Right? Maybe only or
there's be 12 million.
Maybe there's 12. Maybe there's 12 million.
It's such a gong show. I love it being out there and just.
Dude, I think I could be a fisheries biologist and set like those numbers, right? Like it'd be like,
yeah, it looks like
5 million. Let's go with 5 million for this year.
You know, read the tea leaves
stuff.
Classic.
Okay, well, hey, thanks for listening in for the Gig Harbor Flycast.
See you later.
We will see you again very, very soon, maybe in just a couple weeks.
Thanks for having me.